All right, we're rounding out this final review with some pop chord progressions. These are all the same chord progressions from the second exam. And hopefully you can kind of see that they're paired together, and this is for good reason. So you can kind of see some similarities and a couple of little differences here and there. Good news is that if you see, and again, I'm giving you the one chord, giving you the pop symbol, the opening notes, and the Roman. So if you see this, you know it's one of two options. You know it's not rhythm changes because there's too many blanks that you'll have to fill in rhythm changes as opposed to the three blanks here. And you also know that it's not Careless Whisper, Get Lucky because these are major and those two are minor with seventh chords. So hopefully you kind of can eliminate these and not be overwhelmed by them. It's not meant to do that. So okay, let's play through some of these. Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Okay. Essentially, the difference between these two chord progressions is really just the last chord. Are we going to a secondary dominant 2 chord, or are we going to the 5 triad? And that's kind of what you're listening for. These are common enough chord progressions that you'll hear these not only in these two songs, but some other places, which is why I've picked these. Also to help you hear some non-diatonic chords. So we're in C major, but here we have a major 3 chord. Diatonically, we would have a minor 3 chord. That would be our minor 3 chord, but it has a little bit more motion, in part because it's parallel to our 4 chord. If we were to make it a minor 3 chord, it's not as strong of a pull to our 4 chord. Sit on the Dock of the Bay. And again, I'm not looking for the song titles. These are just there to help you guys. Build Me a Buttercup. It goes on. Goes on and so forth. Okay, there are those two. So you just need to be able to distinguish between the two. Rhythm changes. Other similarities between these. Again, I'm going to give you the one chord so you know that it could either be the first half of rhythm changes or the second half of rhythm changes. And just to clarify, a little side note, these are not the only chord progressions for rhythm changes. These are just kind of common ones you might come across. Some people do diatonic chords, so you might have a minor 6 chord. You might have some tritone subs in there. You might have a long run of subs. Again, for the final and what we're kind of testing on, just to develop the ear, we're working with this. So you just need to be able to distinguish between the two of these. Also note, much like what we had in the blues chord progressions, our 6 chord is dominant. It's done intentionally so that you know these 6 chords are functioning as a secondary dominant to our 2 chord. Also note the similarities in the end of these, 3, 6 to 5. They're the exact same on the end of both the first half and the second half of rhythm changes for the A sections. This isn't talking about the bridge. And again, this is not the end all be all. Okay. First half. The last chord was just to get the resolution. If you're having a hard time with these, that's okay. Listen for the bass motion. least in the opening, the difference between the first two chords, you're going do, do, la, re, sol, mi, la, re, sol, do. Try and hear that motion, because remember, these are all in root position. So if you can do that, you're in really good shape. Also, the difference between the first half and the second half of the A sections is that on the second half, the root stays the same. We now have a 1 dominant, which is functioned as a 5 of our 4 chord, which goes to a minor 5 chord, and then moves parallel down. Sorry, that's your dominant 6 chord. My apologies. 2 chord, 5 chord. One more time with a clean take. So hopefully you can kind of hear that again, the root motion. Awesome. So there are rhythm changes. And you gotta remember, I'm gonna give you that the first chord, the Roman, and the pop symbol. If you see 7 blanks, you know it's one of these 2 options. You really just need to differentiate between these 3 chords, because again, you know, the last 4 are the same, at least for our exam. All right, the last ones. Here's the difference between Careless Whisper chord progression and Get Lucky. These chord progressions are both in minor. They both start on the minor 1 chord. And they both have a minor 5 chord, which is different than anything we've had before, because usually our 5 chord is, yes, dominant. That's the right answer. Hopefully that's what you said. All right. Careless Whisper. See if you can hear the melody. If you haven't seen the Sexy Sax Band kind of spoof videos, watch those. He plays Careless Whisper in a multitude of funny spots. If you have seen it, then you already know what I'm talking about. But if not, hopefully this doesn't scar you for life from that song. Wham is a great artist or terrible artist. It's totally your opinion. Get Lucky by Daft Punk. This is their chord progression. The whole song is built on this. And that is the chord progression.